The European Space Agency has just selected 5 launch companies to participate in the agency's European Launcher Challenge. This challenge was proposed at the 2023 Ministerial Council in Seville, with the agency releasing a request for information a few months later in June 2024 and a formal request for proposals in March 2025. The programme aims to increase competitiveness of European launch services, dominated by the more traditional launch company giants Arianespace and Avio. The challenge calls for companies to compete in 2 categories, or so-called components. Component A will be a launch services selection for ESA that should be performed in the period from 2026 to 2030. Component B will be a demonstration of a launch service capacity upgrade, including at least 1 flight demonstration of said upgraded launch capacity planned to be performed by 2028. The programme has a 2-phase approach, with the first one having been completed just this week with the pre-selection of 5 companies: Isar Aerospace of Germany, MaiaSpace of France, Orbex of the United Kingdom, PLD Space of Spain, and Rocket Factory Augsburg of Germany. The agency says it selected the companies based on their technical maturity, business maturity and sustainability, the institutional market planned to be served, as well as compliance to procurement rules. ESA has allotted a maximum of €169 million per challenger to cover the activities under both Component A and Component B of the challenge. If you've been following our channel for a while, you've probably heard of at least a few of these companies before. 3 of them have featured on our Europe's Future in Space series. That's PLD Space, MaiaSpace and RFA. NSF has also provided livestream production services to Isar Aerospace. PLD Space is working on its Miura 5 small launch vehicle, which is intended to be reusable using propulsive landing. That vehicle won't initially be able to do that though, and will be upgraded in capacity to allow for propulsive landing. Perhaps that could allow PLD Space to meet the Component B requirement. The company is also working in parallel on its Miura Next family of medium and heavy lift launch vehicles, so that too could be in play as well. French company MaiaSpace is also working on a reusable small to medium lift launch vehicle called Maia, also featuring propulsive landing. The company has been working since 2022 on developing the rocket and is aiming for a first launch next year. The company, a subsidiary of Arianegroup, is making use of the Prometheus engine already in development to reach the launch pad quickly. During his interview on NSF's Europe's Future in Space series, company CEO Johan Levois said that the rocket would have margin for upgraded capacity in the future, reaching up to 4,000 kilograms to certain orbits. In the case of RFA, that company is working on its RFA-1 rocket, which came very close to being the first one to launch out of all 5 competitors. However, the rocket suffered an anomaly during static fire testing last year, which delayed its debut flight. However, RFA is quickly working towards another try later this year, so it may not be too long until we see the RFA-1 rocket back on the pad. British company Orbex is working on its prime small launch vehicle set to fly in the not too distant future. An interesting feature of this rocket is that instead of having inline tanks, the fuel and oxidizer tanks are coaxial with each other. That is, they're more like a cylinder inside a cylinder rather than one tank stacked on top of the other. Orbex announced late last year that it plans for a larger medium lift launch vehicle called Proxima, so that could probably go towards Component B as well. Isar Aerospace is working on its Spectrum rocket and is the only one of all the 5 companies to actually attempt an orbital flight. Spectrum is also the first rocket to attempt to reach orbit by using propane as its fuel. Isar have been a little bit more quiet about its future plans, so it's going to be interesting to see how the company tries to meet Component B of this challenge. The pre-selection of these 5 companies now allows for the start of Phase 2. In this second phase, the ESA countries that host these companies will negotiate with the companies with a firm timetable and funding that will be proposed at the next Ministerial Council set to take place later this year in Bremen, Germany. This means each host country will need to come up with part of the funding required for the challenge. It also means that, in the case of Germany, with 2 companies operating from there, it's going to be interesting how the country decides to fund these companies once all the formal paperwork is complete. For now though, stay up to date on NSF's socials and nasaspaceflight.com. I've been Caton for NSF, thanks for watching and goodbye.